Good morning and welcome back. Today is December 18th and I'm getting an early start to the day. It's still dark outside here looking out my window, but I'm ready to tackle day 18. I think it's going to be a coloring page, so I thought I would start early. So let's open up today's page and let's take a look. Okay, as per usual, when we have a coloring day, we have a quote from somebody. This is from Joachim Ringlets. Okay, I know I butchered that, sorry. But here we have a beautiful picture. It is a fireplace with some pillows and a rocking horse, garland, some stockings, angel, a Santa, holy moly, a carousel. There's a lot going on this page. It's going to take me a while to complete, so I'm glad I'm starting early. Okay, let me go Google Translate what the quote says, and we'll get underway. Okay, I'm never sure if these Google translations are totally accurate, but when I translated this, it said, "Love ringing wanders through candlelight mild, like forest scent the Christmas season." So that's the quote. We'll leave it at that, and we will concentrate on our Christmas picture here. I'm not going to use a color palette. I am going to try and actually use some normal colors. For a change, I'm not going to try and push myself into an odd and unusual color palette. I'm going to just tackle this page one item at a time, and let's get started. Looking at this page, there's quite a few small fine details. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my bin of, I have a variety of Pitt Artist pens, so I'll use those, a little bit of alcohol marker, and then of course some colored pencil for shading. We're going to start off with the little rocking horse here. I think he's adorable, and I'll zoom you in and we'll pull out some colors and get started on. So I'm going to make this horse a darker color, so it's going to be India Red 192, and then I'll have the saddle in a lighter color, and also I'll take some polychromos and do some of the coloring as well. So today I'm not sure how many questions I'll be asking. It kind of depends how we're coloring, but I will have a little bit of music going on. I hope you've enjoyed the series so far. Still working on the horse and using the Pitt Artist pen. I'm going to grab a jelly roll here in the color bronze metallic and do some of these accents on the horse's costume. Using my first Ohuhu marker for this picture is gray, and it's number 430. So these are a brush tip marker, but they are not a flexible brush. Now I'm bringing in a raw umber 180, and I'm just finishing the remaining piece of saddle on his little rocking horse here. And my first question of the day is, when you were a child, did you have a rocking horse? We had 6 kids, like I've mentioned before, in our family, so we did indeed have a rocking horse. And I'm not really sure whose rocking horse it was, but we all certainly had fun playing on it, enjoying it. And yeah, so we had a rocking horse. And then later in life, we actually had real horses. So this was a start into what would later become a big hobby of our family. Just going to do a little bit of shading with the polychromos pencil now, and then we're done with the rocking horse and we're going on to something else. And there's a lot going on this page. It's a fun page, but it will be taking a little while, so I will try and keep this video to a reasonable length and try and make it as interesting as possible for you as well. So I will add some gel pen to the stirrup after, so I haven't forgotten about it. But since we are in this area, I'm going to zoom you out a little bit, and I'm going to do the background right now, before we get too far into this, I'm going to do the brick around the fireplace and the background, so that we have those colors established, and then we can get going on the rest of the page. Okay, I've pulled out a couple of grays. They're both called steel gray. One is a lighter shade than the other, and I'm going to do the background of the mantle in the light gray, and then I'll shade it with the darker gray. So I want to get some of this page covered quickly, so I'm going to use an alcohol marker. We'll just start at one corner and work our way up. I figured out that you have to go slow with alcohol markers so that it's leaving the same amount of ink as you go. And then there seems to be less streaks, so I'm still new and still learning. Okay, now I'm using the darker version of the steel gray, and I'm doing some of the other brickwork here on the outside to give it a bit of contrast. And I'm going to make the grout here the darker gray. Adding a little bit of wood accent here to the bottom areas, which are obviously not brick, so I've made them wood, and I'm just giving them a nice deep wood color, and then I will be able to have that same wood color on the top of the mantle here, so, and along here, so that will tie nicely in together. I'm going to take a bunch of warm grays and do the rest of these bricks here. I'll bring you along to do one of the bricks. I'm using warm gray number 2 for the overall brick color, and then I'm coming in with some darker warm grays to do some soot and some shadow. So this is number 4, and there will be some shadow at the back end or the top of the brick, and then there should be some soot and smoky wear on the brick from the fire, and then a little bit darker on the very bottom. So that's warm gray number 5. And just come back with the 4 to blend that out a little bit better, and again with the 2. Kind of dirty looking, and that's how we're going to be doing each brick. Okay, I'll keep going. Here's a little update on the fireplace, and the steel gray, the light steel gray, will keep lightening a little bit as it dries, so I'm not too worried about that. I am going to start doing the wood around the on the mantle, and I'm going to use the polychromos colors in a variety of wood shades. I'm going to do a darker wood than I normally typically do, so I have pulled out burnt sienna 283, walnut brown 177, still using my yellow ochre 183, and probably raw umber 180. So we'll use those 4 pencils and do some coloring around here. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. I am bringing in a green gold 268 Pit Artist pen for the last pieces of wood, and I'm going to shade with pencil. Well, folks, that was a exciting surprise. I just had a moose, a young moose, come into my yard passed in front of my window, so I quickly grabbed the camera, and hopefully you saw a little bit of that. So that's definitely a Canadian piece. Filming right there, people. A Canadian moose in its natural habitat. Apparently my backyard, my front yard. Okay, I'm done with this area, and we've got lots more to do on the page. So I'm actually think I'm going to tackle the inside of the fire right now. I'm going to do the garland here, and I'm going to do it in a traditional color. So I'm going to do it in a permanent olive green 167 with the Pit Artist pen, just so that it is fully covered quickly. I am working on the apples on the wreath now, and I'm doing them in two different mediums. I'm using a polychromos pencil in pink permanent carmine 126, and then some of the apples I am using the Pit Artist pen in pink carmine 127. So just to give the apples a bit of a different look, so they're not all exactly the same, but very close. Since I have the red out, I'm going to do these little berries that are on the mantle. So I'm combining both the Pit Artist pen and the polychromos together. Before I get carried away and do too many more elements up here, I'm going to do the background. I am going to pull out a studio marker in neutral gray number 3, and I'm just going to do the back of the wall, and it's going to be a lighter gray than the gray of the fireplace. We'll just get that done, and then we can continue doing the rest of the elements without worrying about the background. So my question for this area is, I was just wondering if this person obviously decorates with some greenery and foliage, and I just wondered if that's something you include in your decorations. I don't ever have like a Christmas bouquet on the table or on the mantle, and I think that this picture makes it look very, very nice. Doing the bow here in red, and I'm going to use a Sparkle Pop gold to be its accent, and this is a Colourist glitter one, and it's Red Serenity is the color, and I do like that they have both color names and numbers on the Colourist gel pens, and then I can get a refill too. Just adding the Sparkle Pop now, and I think that the red really pops with the gold accents, so I think that was a good color choice. While I have these two gel pens out, I'm just going to do the red hearts. There's quite a few hearts on this mantle. I'm not quite sure if I would decorate that way for Christmas, but there's hearts, so I'm going to do them in red and gold as well. So keeping it simple but sparkly. Just a quick update and check in on how the page is going. I finished the two arrangements up top on the mantle, and now I've started to do some of the other items. So I've done the two bows, and I've completed 2 of the 3 stockings, and I've just been using a combination of pencils. I've been using my Brute Fruner Macaron pencils and some Pit Artist pens and some Sparkle Pops to bring them to life, and then I'm also carrying those same colors up into the decorations above. So just trying to use a limited color palette, but am bringing in some brighter colors to go with the green and the red and the gold. So I'll keep going and finish off this little area here, and then we'll be back together to do this section here and the top of the mantle. See you soon. Working on this last stocking here, I just thought I'd come back and we'll finish it together. I used a Pit Artist pen in sky blue, and then also used a polychromos in cobalt blue to do some shading. Now I'm using a silver sparkle pop, and my question is, do you hang up a stocking for Christmas? And do you fill it with anything? I've hung up a stocking this year as part of my decorations, but probably not filling it. But I did hang one up. There he is with the sparkle pop. And then we will move on. I did the top garland here in another, I did it in the chromium green, I believe. And then I put the dragonfly blue shift glaze on top of it. So that's just the little garland that's laying on top of the fireplace mantle. So not the one hanging in front, but just lying on top. I'm going to leave the other green one, but I still have to do the little baubles on the garland. All three stockings are done. There's something in this stocking, not quite sure what it is, but I think I will just color it silver. And then we've got some candy canes. Use a red gel pen to do the candy cane. For the garland little balls and ornaments on the garland itself, I'm selecting 4 sparkle pops, and I'm going to keep them in the colors of the stockings. So that's going to be purple, blue, silver, and gold, and I will just alternate. We're going to start on the carousel, and I'm going to do the top yellow and purple. And then gold as well. So just using a few of the Pitt pens, and this pen was already used down below. And a sparkly star. And my question for you today on this area is, have you ever ridden on a carousel? And we have a heritage park in Calgary, and there is, so it's a park dedicated to history and early 1900s, and I have ridden the carousel there, and it's a old-fashioned carousel. It's quite unique, and it has the horses and chairs you can sit on. So yeah, have you ever ridden on a carousel? I'll keep coloring this. The base of the carousel is going to be wooden, so I'll do a few colors in the polychromos, and I'll bring in a little bit of gold along here. It's a beautiful illustration by Ursula Schwab. I'll have to look for another of her books in the future. Okay, the last items are the little stars on the face of this carousel, and then we're off to do the angel, and it's an angel candelabra or angel candlesticks. Start with the obvious and color the candles in Ivory 103, and I'll shade with a light brown, finishing off the candle flames with a variety of yellows and oranges. just so that there's a bit of color there. And then I will take the light yellow glaze 104 and I'll fill this area in, which is the glow of the light. Our angel is going to have ivory colored hair, so basically blonde. And then we will take a sparkle pop and do her little headband or her halo. And I'll also do the holders in the same. I think we're going to do her wings a few different light colors and then cover them with Winsor Newton iridescent medium. So let me find some light colors first. I'm going to do the wings in light blue, light pink, and some purple. And then we'll cover with the iridescent medium, and then these colors will shine through. Okay, I'm going to let that dry for a second before I add the rest of the dress will be a very pale pink, and I think I want a different pink than the one I have been using, so let me do a little bit of searching. We're going to use the nude color. And this is the Ohuhu brush marker. There are her wings. Nice and sparkly. Beautiful. It's time to do our little Santa. So I'll give him a little light face, light hands. Our little jolly Saint Nick here is going to be typical. I'm going to do red and white, and I'm going to use some sparkles. I haven't done any glitter on this page as of yet with stickles, so we'll add a little bit here. I'm going to use both red pencil and then a red gel pen as well. So the Colourist gel pen, and then we're working with permanent carmine. Trying to select a color palette and then keep using those same colors, just in different ways and in different combinations throughout the page. And that it gives it a little bit more cohesiveness. Even though there's a lot of different colors on this page, hopefully they all come together in the end. There we go. I'm going to leave his beard area alone. and the buttons will be red. Using the color gold green in the Pit Artist pen, we'll give our little teddy bear here the first coat, and then we will do some more shading with the polychromos. We're going to use medium skin for our little face because it's still quite a yellow skin color. So okay, and now I'm coming in with Natural Raw Umber 180, and we're gonna darken him up a little bit. I'm going to sharpen it so I have a sharper point so I can draw some little hairs on him as well. We'll use a blue that we've already selected and used before. So we're going to make the pillows a little bit special. They're going to be holiday pillows, so they've got a bit of blue. They're blue and with some silver edging. And then we'll do a few of these dots in silver as well, using the Signo gel pen. So for the bottom, I want to kind of tie in, we've got a lot of the green. I'll just zoom you out. We've got quite a bit of greenery up here and here, but we have nothing down here. So I'm going to bring in the green down to this, so the light green down to the blanket. That'll help balance the page a little bit. Using a chromium green opaque for a bit of a shadow. Just did a little bit of shading on the blanket where there's folds and stuff. Here is a quick recap of where we're at. We've got 2 items left on the mantelpiece to do, and then this area around the very outside. How shiny it is. The wings really look great. I'm really happy with those, and yeah, everything is coming together nicely. This is a fun page. Last 2 small items are the pictures, so I'm doing that in blue and silver. Just doing a bit of shading with another blue, the cobalt blue, and I did the same onto the jug. So just a little bit of shading on the sides. This is a final look. I did a little bit of darkening up some shadows into the fire area. I added a couple of silver dots around the edge. This is how we're looking. And that is a wrap for day 18. I will do a summary of all of the items we used today. We used a tiny bit of Dragonfly glaze. We used a little bit of Winsor Newton iridescent medium. We used a ton of Pit Artist pens, a few alcohol markers, a bunch of polychromos, some random different alcohol markers, a blender with some Gamsol, and some gel pens. And that, folks, were all used to make this guy. So thanks for coming. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye, everyone.